All right, we're here for round one of our Rookie of the Year tournament to crown our Rookie of the Year who gets to play in the Player of the Year. And we got our feature drafter, Phillip, or Fat Kitty, against Brendan. So we saw Brendan during the pool review had a Golgari deck. And we saw Phillip's draft. We weren't sure exactly what direction he was going to go, but based on his opening hand, it looks like he made a decision to play black and red cards rather than play Grixis because his hand is all black red cards, including this Fireblade artist he's going to start with. And has haste, so he can attack and offer the trade here with the mirror. What's Brendan holding there?
So he's going to play a Defiant Salvager here, and I think
Ooh.
that was why he didn't take the block here. He's going to instead choose to sack the Parry Mirror, get the counter on the Salvager, and kill the Fireblade Artist anyways. Brandon's hand is exactly what his deck wants to do. It has a couple sack fodder pieces, the one sack outlet, the lands he needs, and then backing out up the first Sphere Gargantua to refill once he gets to 6 lands. It's pretty good.
All right, so Philip could play his salivating gremlins here, but looks like he's going to go for the heartless pillage. Just a mind rot here. Um, it's if you attack, you get a treasure along with it, but it's just a classic mind rot, and gets rid of the land and the first sphere, which can come back for the low price of 3 mana. Rest of Philip's hand here, he has a salivating gremlins, which I mentioned, terminal agony, which is the removal spell with madness, and he has a bone picker, as well as 2 lands, one of them being the Dross Force Bridge, the artifact land, which will trigger the Salivating Gremlins if that comes up. And just getting so much value here. Getting to attack for 8, draw a card, and grow his Salvager. And all of a sudden, Philip's at 11 here.
Yeah.
He might just have to fire off his Terminal Agony, destroy target creature, because if he plays the Bone Picker and then it gets removed, he's in he's in really big trouble here. And yeah.
And that's a good choice here, because Brandon has in hand the Demon's Disciple, which, when your opponent lays one creature, is a removal spell. You just sack the Disciple, they sack their creature, and you smash with your 4/4. But instead, we saw the safe line taken with a removal spell used.
Yeah, so we saw Brendan sort of have kind of the ideal mix of sack outlets and things to sack, which is it's hard to get that sometimes, which is kind of like why I don't love drafting Rakdos Sacrifice so much in sets, because I feel like if you don't get that right combo, your deck just is just full of cards that maybe work half the time. But it looked like his deck had a nice balance between, okay, here's my sack outlets and here's my fodder, and had some removal as well to bring it all together.
And speaking of that mix, here we've got the 1/1 token on the field, the Demon's Disciple in hand.
Oh, beautiful.
Hazard a guess that Bone Picker not going to be long for this world. He's got a couple of the 3-drops in hand. If he had the chance to double spell, I could see him not doing this, but he's just going to play Demon's Disciple, or at least he's hovering it, and hit for 3, I'd imagine.
Yeah, sounding like a broken record, but that's another card that just got downgraded to common, a couple weeks ago. So all these new cards sort of breathed life into this cube, because I designed the cube. I removed the worst cards from the cube, like about a month back, and then Chris York informed me, oh, there's this Commander Masters, and there was an Explorer Anthology and Historic Anthology, which all came to Arena around the same time. They came to Arena, and then Commander Masters released their set, like the full set, like later in that week. And he said, oh, there's a whole bunch of new cards that are at your disposal. And I said, wow, this actually makes this cube a lot better. There was a lot more bad, unplayable, narrow sideboard cards that were in this cube that got taken out. So, very happy to see that. Philip just played 2 creatures here. Not really, nothing special here. The 3/3 gets to attack past them. I mean, it can double block. What's in Brendan's hand here?
He's drawing a Savage Swipe, which is a fight spell with upside if your creature is a 2-power creature.
Oh, I think it has to be exactly a 2/2, but
yeah, I think it's just power. But
okay.
I'm a bit. So we had the option to,
I thought it was just a 2/2, but looks like he does not want to trade his Ambassador Oak off here.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that he chose to take what's a relatively conservative line.
He's ahead, so.
That's true, but the way in which he is ahead is more so tempo focused than value focused. Like his opponent's got, he's up a card in his opponent. He's got a creature in play. Both players have 2 cards. His opponent's drawing the next card. He's up half a card.
Yeah.
But he's up 10 life and creatures on the board, and he has a chance to proactively double spell this turn. So I think he's opted for a slower and safer line, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Phillip's hand not supremely useful. He's drawn an Olivia's Dragoon, which is a 2/2. He has a few Madness cards. He played one of them already. His other card in hand, other than the Swamp, is this Nezumi Cutthroat, which cannot block. So I mean, it's at least something he can start getting in with if he's looking to get back in this game. That's something that can at least start chipping in for damage. But as soon as Brendan draws, like a heavy hitter or a removal spell, he's gonna take back control of this game. Bloodflow Connoisseur, not really great on a board where you only have another creature. That card wants a wide board. So he's gonna cast the Savage Swipe. Yeah, so if the creature's power is 2, it gets +2/+2. But otherwise, it's just our classic sort of prey upon, is what we call that. Jewel-Eyed Cobra, was that the draw for the turn?
No, that's been his hand for a bit. Okay. He drew a land. If you're Phillip, what are you hoping to draw over there?
Not a swamp. So I don't remember all the cards in his deck. If he has Recursion, that would be good. If he has, I don't think he had too much card draw, but anything like a Phyrexian Rager or something like that can just find him another card to get this board sort of back under control. Because right now he's staring down multiple creatures. The Jewel-Eyed Cobra, a 3/1 Death Touch. When it dies, you get a treasure. So if you trade it off, you get something left behind. So he's just gonna Bone Shards here.
Very aggressively.
When you have Bone Shards in your deck, maybe you hold your land in hand, perhaps, because he didn't need to play all the lands. He did draw a Reckless Worm for the turn, but because his Cutthroat can't block, that's just gonna end the game. He did cut all the blue cards, and the black red cards that he's not playing are Pirate's Pillage, Beetleback Chief, Mark of the Vampire, and Divest. And he immediately took out the Mind Rot, Heartless Pillage. Looks like he's bringing in Divest. So he did put a bunch of islands in the sideboard just in case he wants to side into blue. Maybe if he sees a matchup where he wants maybe some of these blue cards rather than the red. Maybe he needs to slow down the game a bit or something. So he did put islands into his sideboard, so just in case. But
I'm looking at Brendan's deck, and he's got the first Sphere Gargantua in play, but he's actually got the Phyrexian Gargantua, which draws 2 and loses 2 in the sideboard.
Oh no! Say it ain't so. Oh no!
That was my reaction. That was my reaction too. But it looks like he's more firmly dedicated to being low to the ground.
Yeah.
With these cheaper cards. I think he's worried about his curve getting.
Yeah, but that card's just so good. It refills you. It's going to be often the biggest creature just based on the way this cube is designed.
So we saw no changes from Brandon and just
breaks my heart a little. Yeah, so far he's got Divest in and Heartless Pillage out. That's the only change thus far.
That makes sense. He's facing a green-black, primarily creature-focused deck.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a Heart Piercer bow in his main deck. There was a few creatures that can get hit by it, so probably
that
worth
card
it.
is a lot less good when you're not searching it up with Renowned Weaponsmith and then playing, attacking and mowing down their creatures.
Yeah, it was in Khans of Tarkir, which was a really interesting set, and it was at Uncommon, and it never really made an impact because what Renowned Weaponsmith was in the next set. But I remember they printed at Core Set, I think it was M20, and it was kind of like a meme deck, but there was, if people weren't taking them, you could just end up with 3, 4, 5 of them.
I had some very good times winning games.
And that was back in the days of bot draft, right? We only got in-person draft on Arena for Ikoria 2020. So this was 2019 with M20. And the bots were not taking that card. So you could just take 3 or 4 of them and consistently draw 2 every game. And it was quite a good card. So we see some little creatures here to start off the game. Sanitarium Skeleton and Perilous Mirror. What else is Brendan holding over there?
He's got a pretty land-heavy hand right now. He's got 3 lands in hand, and he's holding up a Murder. That's his mana.
That might get... The Bone Picker might be good enough here to get murdered.
On the other hand, it does get taken out by the Perilous Mirror trigger. Yeah, he's just going to pass through, and he's going to get rewarded for that play, because he's drawn a Defiant Salvager here. So if he wants to do the play at sack line, he can do that.
And he could save his murder for the Rapacious Dragon that's coming up next turn, which is the 5-mana 3/3 flyer that gives you 2 treasures. Yeah, so he did this last game too, to great effect. You know, sack the mirror.
It's not the greatest use of Perilous Mirror in the world, but it's still a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Like ideally, you'd want to have Perilous Mirror block Mire Trident and then ping down the Bone Splitter, but like they would just not attack into you at that point.
Yeah, now Skeleton gets to get in.
I mean, if he wants, he can, sack and rebuy Skeleton an arbitrary number of times and just make this very, very big salvager.
Looks like he's going to do that. If he just has a bunch of mana and not much else to do, might as well. Yeah. I mean, he might actually, rather than target the Rapacious Dragon, he might actually just target the Mire Triton so that his Defiant Salvager can attack. But Phillip's saying, you know what, I sense a problem here. I'm gonna take care of this problem. Yeah, but like I was saying, if the Salvager was in play, he might just point his removal at the Death Toucher rather than the 3/3 Dragon, since the Death Toucher actually trades. And more lands here off the top. So his hand is all lands right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, Brandon is looking at a murder and 3 lands, so it does feel like a game where Sanitarium Skeleton might be doing some work.
We'll see. Yeah, so off goes the flyer here. And in comes a 1/1 elf.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dwarven Hammer. That could be a good one here because I don't know if Brendan really has any ways in his deck to remove the artifact. So
the 15th pick Dwarven Hammer.
I know, and that card's real good. That card was an uncommon. It was a high pick and called him as an uncommon. So this Dwarven Hammer needs to get some respect, and maybe it can demand respect this game because it can turn any creature into a threat, right?
Would you describe it as hammer time right now?
It's past my bedtime. That's all I know. So if hammer time, if this is hammer time, normally I wouldn't know. Normally I'm already asleep. But
Richard Koffler opts out of hammer time, but it looks like Brandon is not going to be able to opt out of hammer time.
Yeah, he's going to take it here, and he has the nice Death Touch Trample combo, so it deals some extra points of damage here if something blocks it, because everything past the first damage will go directly to Brendan's life total, which is dwindling here. But the Skeleton is kind of an answer to the hammer in a way.
Interesting. He's drawn the Savage Swipe, and he was hovering briefly, fight the 1/1 onto the Mire Triton.
I mean,
now he's going to have Skeleton instead, which I think is a better play, to be honest.
Yeah, Skeleton being put to good use here.
Yeah, when literally nothing else is happening, although I'm not sure why he didn't rebuy and replay it there, but when nothing else is happening, it's pretty darn good.
So he's drawn a Doomblade here, which can get rid of this tree, the 3/3. I imagine Brendan wants this trade here. Yeah, so he's going to trade, take 4. He's going to clear the board probably of this the 3/3. The Skeleton's going to come back, but because he didn't do it during his turn, it won't be attacking. So it looks like he said, "I'm just going to Doomblade this. I don't want to deal with it. I don't have anything else going on." And in Pauper Cube, there's no guarantee your opponent's going to draw something better than a 3/3.
Especially when half his creatures are black and untargetable by Doomblade. But we've got something spicy here. We've got a combo with the Sanitarium Skeleton.
Oh, okay.
It's not quite the Salvagers, but
he's drawn a Disfigure. So this could get foiled.
This is a huge 50-50 here.
This could get foiled, yeah. He needed to wait, I think, right? Until he got foiled here.
Oh man.
He needed to wait until Brendan took the initiative, right? And because when Brendan sacks the creature, he can then Disfigure in response. So what the Legion Vanguard does, since it's a card a lot of people may not have played with, since it had only showed up on Arena on Jumpstart, it's a 2-mana 2/2 with the activated ability of 1 mana, sack a creature, another creature, and it explores.
And I think what this might have been is not knowing what Explorer did potentially.
Yeah, he might not have known exactly that, because if you played
weren't playing
Ixalan, you know Explored, but it's been a long time since Ixalan.
Yeah, the days of Wild Growth Walker being a standard player are long past.
Oh boy, yeah, Jade Light Ranger, Merfolk Branchwalker, yeah, but so he what he needed to do was he needed to hold the Disfigure until Brendan made the first move, right? When Brendan makes the first move, sacking that skeleton because that's his only creature, he then gets. Oh, and he's going to keep that Demon's Disciple. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I was about to give him crap because the card he bought him was Mother Bear, which flashes back from the bin.
Yeah, this is going to spiral to get a bit out of control here because he's taking 7 along with all this, and he gets to scry.
This is Brandon's deck just doing what it does best, is like taking a game state where nothing much is going on and just growing slowly and accumulating and getting value out of this.
Yeah, so he could have really paired his black cards with just about anything, because his black cards are the driving engine of this deck. And Phillip has just drawn a land here, so unfortunately that's gonna wrap this game up for him. And Brandon, with his impressive Golgari deck here with a lot of sack synergy, goes to the second round, and we'll be back for round 2 in a little bit.